Brazilian state-run oil giant Petrobras is raising prices of gasoline and diesel at its refineries all across the South American nation. The company basically explained in a public statement, that it is taking this particular decision in line with global markets. It is important to point out that average gasoline prices at the refinery gate will rise to 0.57 cents per liter, 0.57 cents of dollar per liter, while diesel prices will essentially jump to 0.62 cents of dollars per liter. Getting to this point, it is an undeniable fact that this particular situation will definitely affect Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro in the upcoming presidential elections, which will be taking place in a couple of months. After all, these types of situations always end in a massive chaos or in the destitution of the president all across Latin America. Throughout the history of Latin America, these type of situations always have two different outcomes. On the one hand, if we are near a presidential election, the president, the head of state, will definitely lose the presidential election against the other candidate. Or on the other hand, it could explode in a social mayhem, just like it happened in countries like Chile, like Colombia, or during the late 80s in Venezuela with the so-called Caracazo, which was a social explosion where people essentially took the streets and performed one of the most historic and most massive protests in the history of Venezuela, precisely because of a similar situation that Brazil is currently experiencing. Of course, on the other hand, it is important to take into consideration the fact that former president and left-wing candidate and left-wing leader Lula da Silva is rising incredibly in every single poll. So this situation will definitely play in favor of Lula da Silva, which it is an undeniable fact that is the most favorite candidate to win the upcoming presidential election. We could be talking about the return of Lula da Silva, and of course a lot of consequences that this particular situation will have, not only in Brazil but also all across Latin America, considering the position of Jair Bolsonaro and considering the geopolitical position and alliances that Lula da Silva has all across this region. So the fact that Petrobras decided to take this controversial action definitely plays against Jair Bolsonaro, considering that his popularity is quite low, given the fact that he is a pretty polarizing figure in the South American giant. And on the other hand, we need to remember the fact that the COVID pandemic has been a massive crisis. It is quite possible that the biggest crisis of the COVID pandemic in South America is the one of Brazil. And this is mainly because of different irresponsible actions taken by the Brazilian president, who always, he always underestimated the danger of the COVID pandemic. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.